Yes, that's right, people. There's a new intro video. I thought, oh, I've upgraded my my PC. It's long overdue that I do slightly high quality video version of the intro video, and I did it, and then I've not uploaded any videos in a while. And of course, patch 9 has since come out and made the game look even more amazing. So I'm probably going to have to redo it again. But thanks to the guys who kindly helped out. So this is another Ace Tanker Mastery Badge game, and potentially it might be one of the last I put up. Just because now, since, was it 8.11 or 8.10? No, 8.11 before this, because this is 8.10. Since then, obviously every time you subsequently get an Ace Tanker, it lets you know. And I think that's cool and really interesting to know that you're consistently performing at that standard, but it doesn't make it quite so dramatic having got it, I think. So I'm going to continue putting videos up. There's going to be some tutorials coming up. I've got plenty of funny and entertaining games that I want to put up, because frankly that's what everyone wants to see anyway. And any game where I get something remarkable like a Radley Waters, etc. So there's not going to be too many of them. But this is going up because this is my first tier 10 Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. I've now got one in every tier except tier 9, which is the tier that doesn't like me. I'm platooned up here with an IS-7, a good friend of mine, and this T-57 has very nicely pushed me up the hill. This is Himmelsdorf, it's an encounter, and I've got loads of armour. It's really important to control the hill in Himmelsdorf because it is. So I've come up here, having lots of armour, a big derpy gun, and realising the importance of it. And I'm going to try and lay some hurt on these guys. Now, what tends to happen here is the faster tanks and the stupid heavy players go down to the cap circle, and one team will camp up north and one team will camp down south, and nothing will be achieved. There's a T-57 heavy who will feature heavily later in the game, who's by the cap circle at the moment, but right now I'm trying to lay some hurt on this mouse. I've hit him once already for just over 1,000 damage. I think the numbers up the hill are fairly even. There might be a tank in it. I'm not going to count. You can if you want. Send your answers on a stamped addressed envelope. Blah 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 blah. You know the deal. The Blue Peter competition rules. And for those of you who aren't from the UK, that will have made no sense. And for those of you who are now watch Blue Peter and can just compete online, it will also make no sense. Anyway, total game. That's right, game. We're talking about a game. So I love this tank. It was my first tier 10, and I like tank destroyers because I like a gun that I know I can point at the enemy and click and damage will happen. I've since got better at weak spots. Actually, I think playing the IS-6 has taught me a hell of a lot about this game. There will be a review of some of the tier 8 premiums coming up soon when I get round to doing it. It's one of those things I've been promising myself I'll do for ages, like this scouting tutorial, and then I play scouts and I get excited and I go around destroying stuff rather than spotting, and while it's entertaining, it's not a great tutorial. So I'm just here using the rubble where I can back there, and now using the other tanks to protect my lower glacis, because that is the weak spot, and the silly little machine gun turret that you can see on the top there of the YAG. I've got 3 good hits in, 2 on the mouse and 1 on the 113. I've not secured a kill yet, but I'm not here to do that. I'm here to put serious damage in, because the damage output of this vehicle, I mean, it's got a long reload time, like in the region of 25 seconds. So you've got to make sure your shots count. But when they do, they take a tank from being, in the case of this guy, he had a lot of his health left, and now he's got it totally changes his playstyle. He's got to play cautiously. So that's how to use this. It's to support your team by making tough opponents feel more vulnerable and change their playstyle. Now, if you can, as I plan to do here, take alive opponents and make them dead, it's even better. So my platoon mate's having a stonking game. He's sat on 3 kills at the moment, and he's coming round the other side. I can see that there was a bat chat and an FV Death Star, whatever you want to call it, down the D line around D3, D4, who could put some nasty side damage into me. I don't know why I fired at him at that acute an angle, but it was a dumb mistake. But there's an IS-7 down there that I'm hoping is going to keep them well behaved. I don't perhaps pay as much attention to that area as I should, but I think it's vitally important we get rid of these E100s here. And yeah, I'll have that. Back of an E100, thank you. Oh dear, you're on fire, and that's my second kill. And now on just shy of 6,000 damage. Shots just come up at me. I'm a bit. I've stopped paying attention. I can see this E100, and I want to finish him off, and I'm pretty sure I can. And then bang, 1,822 from the horrible little Batchat. Now, Batchats, I generally think, and there are some great Batchat players out there who kick ass. But certainly since the game changed, you know, this is what they used to call tier 12 games, where everything was tier 10. But since they've changed the game, since patch 8.11, so you never get tier 12 games, the Batchat is as often as not a liability. And I always joke that the team with the most on, I'm dead here, so I'm fast forwarding the game to the next relevant action. I'm number 2 mate getting his moment of glory. But the Batchat, the team with the most Batchats, is the one that fails. That's that T57 I was talking about. Hardest. So unless they're really great players, they tend to be a liability just because they take up the slot of a tier 10 capable of carrying more. I'm sure many of you will disagree with me, and if played well they can be good, but they're a support tank, not a mainline assault tank. And I think you want your tier 10s to be mainline assault tanks more often than not. So, this mouse player, who I shan't name, Pinion76, what a muppet. We've got an E75 who's a one-shot kill for the T57, and this mouse is almost on full health. We're telling them, go cap. Because if they get on the cap circle, they put pressure on the T57, he has to come to them, they can be prepared for it. Alright, he might put the shot into the E75 that kills it, but that's just, set him up for the mouse to finish him off. But no, they don't work together and we lose the E75. We've got a mouse on nearly full health, and there's a T57, but it's an autoloader. It has the capacity to reduce things from nearly full health to no health in good order. But unless he gets some exceptional rolls, one clip isn't going to be good enough for the mouse. I emphasise this mouse player has a 38% win rate. I'm not a stat whore, not much of a stat whore anyway. I look at stats a fair bit, but I don't think they paint the total picture of the player, and you know, his ability in other tanks exceeds his ability in a mouse. This just is perhaps not the tank for him. He's angling well here, takes his time, makes the shot, does the right thing, bang! T57's down 78 health. I mean, we've been yelling cap, the whole team has been yelling cap for a while. And I just have that sinking feeling in my stomach right now that we're going to derp out. That this guy is going to lose us the game. And now what he does is he finally listens to everyone's advice. He turns, faces his back to where the T57 is likely to be coming from, and starts driving towards the cap. Now we're of course telling him there's no point. My platoon mate is quite animated in his criticisms of this muppet driving the mouse. No, I'm be fair to him, he might be a perfectly good player and he's just having a complete donkey of a game. And has had 200 odd other donkey of games. 38% win rate, surely you can... anyway, I'm not here to bash other people, but this certainly wasn't his finest hour. So, again, he goes patrolling up this street and heading in the direction of the cap. The team are throwing all sorts of amusing criticisms at him, and bang, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's his clip gone. He's left the mouse on 566 damage. He's done damn near 2,000 damage to it. The mouse finally decides he's going to turn around ever so slowly. face the T-57, which has got like a 20-25 second, like a not nearly long enough reload time for an autoloader as far as I'm concerned. He's lucky that the shot gets donked and gets a lucky one in on the 57, and we win the game. That was my ace tanker in the Jag E100. I will get the stats up in a second so that you can see them, and I hope that has been entertaining for you guys. Please check out my other videos or subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking to join a clan on the EU servers, Brit6 that I'm a member of is recruiting at the moment. I have put the link to their site down below in the description.